Guys, today we're going to learn how to long divide polynomials and use the quadratic formula to find the roots. We're going to look at one problem today that has irrational roots, and we'll look at how we can find the roots from the graph and then long divide it, then use quadratic formulas to get to it. Okay. So we are given 6x cubed minus x squared minus 13x plus 3. And we'll go to Desmos, which I've already plugged it in, and we're going to look at the x-intercepts, and we get negative 1.5, 2.32, and 1.434. Now, 0.232 and 1.434 are irrational numbers. We can't put those in fractions, but hopefully you notice that negative 1.5 is a fraction. It's an improper fraction of negative 3 over 2. And so what we'll do is head back to our problem. We'll write it down in the top left corner as scratch paper. We're going to have x equals negative 3 halves. And remember, we want to multiply both sides by the denominator to get rid of the fraction. So we get 2x equals negative 3. And then we need to add 3 to both sides to get one of our factors. And so remember, our factors are equal to 0. Now from there we can divide 6x cubed minus x squared minus 13x plus 3 by 2x plus 3. So we'll have 2x plus 3 divided into 6x cubed minus x squared minus 13x plus 3. And then from here we're going to long divide. I'm going to do this somewhat quicker than the last video. If you need a reminder on it, this is a good reminder. But if you need a fuller description on what we're doing, go watch the last video. So we have 2x times 3x squared to give us 6x cubed. And so we'll multiply out the 2x by the 3x squared, which is 6x cubed. 3x squared plus 3 is 9x squared. We'll subtract this, so I'm going to put the minus sign on the outside to remind me to change the symbols. Bring it down, we get negative 10x squared. Bring down negative 13x. We are then going to ask ourselves 2x times what equals negative 10x squared. That would be negative 5x. Multiply that out, so we're going to multiply negative 5x by 2x, which is negative 10x squared. And then negative 5x times 3, which is negative 15x. Put parentheses around it, subtract it, change the symbols, change that to a plus, and we get 0. Negative 10 plus 10x is 0. Negative 13x plus 15 is 2x. Bring the 3 down, and we are lucky enough to have no remainder, so we're going to multiply 2x by 1 to get rid of 2x times 1 to equal 2x. 1 times 3 is 3. Subtract it. Parentheses around. Change the symbols. We get 0. And so now we have our new factors of 2x plus 3 in parentheses and 3x squared minus 5x plus 1. And if you multiply that back out, you'll get 6x cubed minus x squared minus 13x plus 3. So having divided out our 6x cubed minus x squared minus 13x plus 3 over 2x plus 3, we have one 0. Unfortunately, we now have to find the other 0 from the quadratic. And you can try to factor if you want, but you'll find that it does not work. So what we'll have to do is use the quadratic formula. And if you need a refresher on the quadratic formula, go back and watch the video for that. But I will go ahead and write it out. So we have negative b plus or minus square root of b squared minus 4ac all over 2a. And so what we're going to do is we're going to write out our equation using our quadratic 3x squared minus 5x plus 1, the one we got from long division. So we have negative 5 plus or minus the square root of negative 5 squared minus 4ac A, which is 3, C, which is 1, all over 2A. And so from here, all we have to do is work it out. So we have 5 plus or minus the root of 25 minus 12 over 6. And so simplify it a little bit more. We have 5 plus or minus the root of 13 over 6. And we can't do anything to simplify 13 because it is a prime. So if you want to leave it like that, that's fine. If you want to write out 5 plus 13 over 6 and 5 minus 13 over 6, that's okay too. So our roots will be, we'll write x equals negative 3 halves. And as we look at decimals, we have negative 3 halves right here. And we also get 0.232 and 1.431. And if we plug in the two other zeros, the two other x intercepts we found, we'll get that too as an estimate. And the other zero would be 5 plus or minus root 13 over 6. And like I said earlier in Desmos, if you plug that into a calculator, you'll get a rough estimate, which is what Desmos is doing.